I welcome you here on the YouTube channel of Z.Ram. My name is Daniel and today I would like to show you how to install the power pin for the FSC or TCP. In other words, our new export valve. In the previous videos I showed you the results we achieved with the power pin. We have reached 14 joules more than with the standard pin. Even more than 70 joule in total. Before we start, I would like to draw your attention to our steel chambers, which is already available in the shop. Currently even with a decent discount, as it is only available for pre-order. It will be delivered in early to mid-January, but you can order it now. With a discount. If you work or want to work with higher pressures, then it is recommended to use a steel chamber. Among other things, we will soon also offer a 1500 psi regulator, and to use it you should definitely use a steel chamber. We will also soon offer harder bolts, harder springs and our own steel Z barrel, i.e. our own barrel, which is perfectly adapted to the Z8 and 60 projectiles. In any case we also supply a steel chamber with steel plug, i.e. the lid up at the back. The kit does not include the rubber O-rings. But you can use the old ones. So now let's get to the short tutorial in which I show you how to install the power pin. So this is the standard FSC, it works similarly with the TCP, T8 and T9. But I'll show you that here at the FSC. You will need these Allen keys, which are included with the FSC, a normal screwdriver. It doesn't have to be that big, it can also be a normal one. And if you want to change the O-ring, you need a finer screwdriver. I'm using this drill here, which is used to hold, I can show you that later. And we need screw glue. If necessary, you can of course also use super glue or something, but a screw glue would be better. Then we still need grease. I also like to use such a silicone spray, it's a bit more handy, but the grease that I would also run with the power pin can also be used quite well for this. So first you remove the magazine. Then here the barrel, and now with the smaller Allen key these screws here. Next remove with the slightly larger Allen key, this and this screw here. Here we're still the spring in it. Now this is taking over. Now you have it in your hands. With the larger key you can now remove the regulator, just pull it off. With the thick Allen key you open the shutter here at the back and see the air chamber here. You can push it out of here now and have it in your hand. That's the bolt, that's the air chamber. It is recommended that you swap the O-ring for a heat core O-ring in here. I can show that very briefly. For this you open here at the back. Then you need something that has a diameter of about the same size. That's just to hold. So you can fumble out the old O-ring here. Try to damage the chamber as little as possible, or preferably not at all, as it is only made of aluminum. When the old O-ring is out, you can put something like this in to hold. Then you can slide the new O-ring in like this. Grease it a little bit. The drill now only serves so that the O-ring does not slip through all the time, but that it then has a bit of counter pressure here. It is definitely recommended at higher pressure. And to use the steel chamber in the future. So, here is the boldest the firing pin now. It's already inside my bolt. But I am just showing you. The principle is the same. You can simply unscrew it with the slotted screwdriver. The small screw either comes out with the pin or stays in the bolt. But that's not important. It stays where it was better glued. Then you make a little of the screw glue on the bolts from both sides best, and can then try to fumble it back in. Then you put a little silicone spray or grease on it. Here is also something. And then test whether it also flows. And now sit lightly on it. But leave it open. Now you take the case and put the chamber and bolt back in here. Make sure that the hole in the chamber is above the hole in the case. If it's slightly offset now, that's not a bad thing. But I'll try anyway. Basically, it doesn't even have to be that way, but I always try to make it over here like that. Then you can see this here. You have to open it up a bit. Then you have to push the bolt forward before you install the whole thing. Before you install the regulator, that's very important. Now screw the regulator back on with this screw. Don't twist too hard. Do not break the screws. Now you can mount the handle back on. Then the small screws. The cap at the end. Then you can now push the bolt back again. Now the spring and the barrel. And the power pin is installed and ready for use. So that's the instructions for installing the power pin. How the steel chamber is installed. You can of course see the same instructions. As I said, this steel chamber is recommended, because the standard chamber is only made of aluminum and deforms or scratches very quickly if you work with higher pressure. In another video I will go into more detail about the steel chamber, but I will wait until we also offer the 1500 psi regulator, then I can introduce it to you together. You can find the link to our shop in the video description below. One more note at this point. This is not an original part of First Strikes. Please make sure that in Germany only 7.5 joules are allowed and that you do not exceed the 7.5 joules with the ammunition and power pin used. There is a very high risk of injury. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up and a subscription. Until next time. You're Daniel from Z.Ram.